Hello, wonderful humans. Welcome to a new episode of the Seriously in Business podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about how on earth to decide what graphics you're going to work on next for your business. I feel like as business owners, we have so many different things we want to work on and so many things that are calling for our attention. And sometimes graphics kind of feel overwhelming and we're not sure what we're meant to do next. And the answers and the ways that I'm going to help you to define this is probably more to do with marketing than it is to do with design. But everything in our business goes hand in hand. And I hope that this is going to help you to ask some really great questions so that you can know what is strategically what you need to focus on your business instead of getting caught up just working on the pretty things just for the sake of it. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so to tackle this question for yourself, you're going to have to be really honest with yourself around maybe things you're putting off in your business and maybe things that are actually going to move your business forward rather than things that are just fun. And so as a business owner, if you're anything like me, I am relatively short on time. I'm running a household, got kids, running a business, doing all sorts of things. And what I really need to think through is how can I create and use my time strategically so that I'm doing things that are actually going to move my business forward rather than just things that I'm just chasing the next shiny thing in business. And so some of the questions I want to share with you are going to help you to not be chasing the next shiny thing, but really strategically planning what is next and what's going to actually move the needle forward in your business. Because there is no point having pretty graphics and strategic and beautiful graphics that your audience loves if they're not doing the right thing in your business, if they're not actually needed at this time in your business. And so these are some questions to think through. The main important one I want to talk through is what does your business need right now? Where are you at in your business? There are 3 places I want to talk about. The first one is going to be, do you just need clients ASAP? Like, do you just not have any clients or only one client? You really just need a client. You just need to sign a client, please, anything, or assign a customer. That's your first stage. And I'll go through and talk about what graphics you might need for that. Or you might be in the stage where you've got a few clients, but you want to start to kind of have a little bit of a pipeline going. You want to start having consistent clients coming through rather than always being in that, oh, I need a new client. I just finished with this client. Now I need a new one. Or I've just sold this product. Now I need to find a new customer, like trying to create more of a consistent pipeline of clients or customers. And then the third part could be you're just trying to build maybe a more of a passive income. You've got maybe a few different clients going on, but you want something that's less time conducive for you. And so you want to create like a little course or a little product or whatever it is. And so those 3 different sections, and there are more sections, but hopefully you can learn to ask yourself the right questions. I think these are the 3 of the common ones that I come across for the people that I work with, is how you can then decide what graphics are needed in those stages so you can sit and actually work towards that rather than just creating what you think you need to create. I know so many business owners are just like, oh, I just need to get my Instagram perfect. And I'm like, why? Firstly, is your ideal client there? Do you have everything set up so that when someone sees you and finds you on Instagram, they're actually able to take steps from there? Or are you just kind of posting for the sake of posting? And posting for the sake of posting isn't all bad, but it's not going to be the thing that's going to move your business forward like something else might. Something that's maybe a little bit less fun and a little bit less obvious, but is going to actually do that stepping forward. So what I want you to do is think through which of those stages am I in, or maybe find another stage in your own mind that's relevant to you. And then I'm going to talk through some of the things to think about in each of those stages. So for example, if you're in that I just need to sign a client ASAP kind of stage, like you've either never really had a proper client or you're kind of run a little bit dry, what do you need to think through to get a client? So what I want you to ask yourself is, what is a client's journey? Like, how is someone going from absolute stranger to paying and working with me? What are the steps that someone needs to take throughout that process? And as a result, what graphics and marketing do I need to create to get someone from the start, from A, all the way to B of working with me? And so say, for example, as a made-up client journey, your clients might be hanging out on somewhere like Instagram or somewhere else. Like it isn't just always Instagram. I think a lot of the people, at least in my world, just assume their clients are on Instagram, and it's not always true. I was talking, we signed a client today that is only on LinkedIn, and he was like, do you have a LinkedIn? I was like, not really, because most of my clients are on Instagram, but, and so we might go making ourselves a LinkedIn soon. Anyway, that's not the point. So actually kind of is the point. Work out where your clients are and create content that's going to meet them there. If your clients are on Instagram, do some strategic Instagram content. But if your clients aren't on Instagram, don't do that. If they're on Facebook, or if they love listening to podcasts, get yourself out there and create a podcast. If they're local clients and they're going to be hanging out at the supermarket, create a poster to go on the notice board at your local supermarket. Like, think through where where they actually are, and then create content for that, whether it's a newspaper ad, whether it's a random flyer or a letterbox drop. Thinking those things through is really important rather than just assuming, oh, I need to be on Instagram. That may be the answer, but it also might not be. So working out, where is someone first going to notice you? Or even doing some different thinking of have I had a client or two before, and are they also friends with more of the same kind of client that I would have? So say, for example, for my business, I obviously work with business owners. And so usually a business owner has another friend who's also a business owner. So if I was just looking for a next client and maybe I'd already had a few clients, I could send out an email to all my past clients and say, hey, I've got a spot to book in X month. I would love if you could share me with some of your friends. And you could either just end it there, or you could say, if you do and they sign with me, I will give you like a little gift or a 10% kickback or whatever it is. But doing that strategically. And that's not a fun, pretty thing to do. You don't have to make a fancy graphic for that. All you have to do is just send that email. But it's a little bit scary. It's putting yourself out there. It's asking for what you want. And so think about, how am I actually going to get that next client? Where are they? And then what's the journey they need to take? So say you do go on Instagram and you do a post. What's that post actually going to be? What do you need to do? Like if you've already got a large following, maybe you could even just do a really quick sales post of like, I've got a spot open in X month, book now, and you tell them how to book now. Or if you haven't got a big following or you need to warm your audience up, maybe they don't realize they need your help, doing some more strategic posts around like, say for me with graphic design, I often have posts that are sharing the importance of design, because I can have as many posts on my Instagram that say, work with me now, buy my course now, do this now. But if people don't see the importance of spending their hard-earned money on graphic design, they're not going to ever pay for me. So we need to make sure we're meeting our clients where they're at and saying, okay, if I want them to work with me, what do I need to overcome in the meantime? Like, do they need to understand the importance of branding? Do they need to understand the importance of communication? Do they need to understand how much that actually investing in this might actually help them? And so asking yourself those questions and then creating content that meets those people where they're at and educates them for where they might be deciding they might need your product or service, and that investing their hard-earned money in you is a worthwhile thing to do. So that's really the main important thing to think about in this stage is where is my audience, and how can I educate them? How can I help them? How can I show them what I have to offer so that they go and purchase? And so once someone's at that point of purchase, what's then their next step? Do they have to DM you? Do they have to send you an email? Do they go to your website? Do they download this freebie? Whatever it is, are all those steps in place? Is that perfect client journey in place? And is that client journey really clear? If someone decides, yes, I want to work with you, do they know what to do with that? Have you created the graphics you might need? So for someone in this stage, obviously you want to think about, where are my clients right now? Do I need to create a graphic for that? Do I need to create a poster? Do I need to create a flyer for a letterbox drop? Do I need to create a really strategic Instagram post? And then where are they going? Do I need to create a website page, even if it's just a one little page, because I need people to go there first to find out more information? Or do I need to tell them to DM me? Do I need to send them like a little PDF that outlines all my services? Like, think through what are the actual graphics that I need for someone on that journey, so you're not like just playing catch up as soon as something happens. You're able to just serve them, and it's a really easeful journey for someone. So that's that first step of if I need a brand new client ASAP, where are they? How can I meet them where they're at? And how can I then take them on the journey to then working with me? Is every part of that stage and that step clear? Oh, hello. I'm interrupting this episode super quickly to let you know that we have limited availability to work with the team at White Deer Studio. If you want done for you graphic or brand support, that means doing your graphics for you. Anything from bespoke social media templates to launch graphics or a full branding package, our team are ready to support you. Just head to whitedeer.com.au/design studio to find out more. That's the color white, the animal deer.com.au/design studio to find out more. We cannot wait to work with you. All right, back to the episode. The next stage that you might be in is you've already got a few clients, but you want to make sure that you're getting more clients more consistently. And this is where you want to really work on what we call building the top of funnel. So I had this problem a few years ago when I wanted more people to join my online course, for example. I'd sold my online course and it went really, really well the first time I launched it. The second launch, I was like launching to crickets. There was barely anything there because I'd already shared that offer with my audience and I hadn't built up more people into my audience in the meantime. And so I'd shared to everyone, and everyone who decided they wanted to buy had bought. And then when I launched the second time, there was a few stragglers left over that were like, actually, yeah, I do want to buy. But other than that, I didn't have more new people into my world to sell to. And so if you've already been selling to your audience and you're just finding that you're going for a bit of crickets now, it's time to build your top of funnel. It's time to get more people into your business so you can then sell to them again. And so this might be doing things like kind of really usually free content that reaches new people. And there is no limit to what this might be. Well, there's some sort of limit, but there's so many things that you could do. And again, it's about working out, where is my ideal client? Where are they? And how can I find them? And how can I I bring them in and help them to trust me? So say, for example, on Instagram, instead of just doing like a get to know me post or a sales post, you might do some more strategic shareable posts, like a really great educational carousel or a really funny reel, or it doesn't even have to be funny, just an educational reel, or just carousels and reels probably get shared more. So then if someone sees your post, they're already following you, they might share it to their stories and the people that are following their stories might see. Or reels, for example, Instagram is much better at sharing those far and wide. Carousels do get shared and normal posts do get shared far and wide, but not quite as much as reels. So doing like really focusing on your reel strategy. And so with the graphics you might need for that, you might need to design some carousel posts for your Instagram, or you might need to design some reel covers, or you might not need to design anything and you just need to get out there and record the reel. There don't have to be like reels. Probably will even work better the less designed they are. What I recommend with reels, just from a design perspective, is that you do stuff that's consistent. So say, for example, with all of my reels, I always use the same Instagram font. I don't make anything fancy on my Canva. I just use Instagram font. I just select a color that's close to my color for that font. And I don't, if I apply a filter, which I don't, but if you apply a filter, you just apply the same filter every single time. And doing those things helps to create that consistent branding that I'm always talking about. But it doesn't take you heaps of time of like, oh, I need to go into Canva and design this really fancy pants reel. No, you need to get in front of the camera, record yourself, whether it's typing on your computer, or whether you're talking to the camera, or whether you're just going for a walk down the street. Or one of the reels that I posted that did really well was just me holding my phone here, recording me walking. That could be a piece of content. And you just put text over the top of that with some trending audio and you post that. And you don't even have to do a reel cover if you don't want to. You don't need to have a perfectly curated grid someone like me has. You could just do like a screenshot from that reel and have that. As long as your text is the right color and you've got like a nicely lit image or a video, then it actually doesn't look too bad on your grid. And so just doing things like that can be really, really less time consuming, less you getting in your head of like, oh, I need to design this fancy reel. Like, how do I do animation on Canva? Like, yes, that has its place, but it's actually going to be probably far more effective to do something that's more real. People tend to like, if I see a more designed reel on Instagram, I usually just swipe past. It doesn't quite capture my attention. But if you do just a reel that's about you and your life and what you're working on, like if you're a content creator doing something on your computer, if you're a jewelry maker, just a video of you making jewelry, like it doesn't have to be rocket science. It just has to be strategic. And so working out, again, similar to what I said in that first question of what does my audience need to know to get into working with me? Like how can I show them that what I have is worth them paying their money for? So asking yourself, like, what are the things that when someone says, oh, no, I won't work with you, what are the reasons they're giving you? And use those answers for your reels. So say, for example, a reason someone might say to not work with me is, oh, I don't have the money to invest in design right now. I'm like, okay, what do you have the money to invest in? Should design come before those things because of X, Y, and Z? Or if they don't have the money to invest, another reason might be, I might say, oh, but if you pay X amount for design now, you might get X amount in clients back. And so then the investment has paid for itself. And so just working out how you can take someone's objection to working with you and creating content out of that so that they're not going to be the only person thinking that, so you can create content for that. And so I guess what I'm saying is work out how you can build your top of funnel. So maybe that could be your Instagram reels or carousels. Maybe it could be, for me, I've got my YouTube channel, or I've got Facebook ads, or I've got a podcast. Those are my key top of funnel strategies. And so what that means is that constantly every day someone is coming into my world, they're getting one of my Facebook ads, then they're downloading one of my freebies, they're getting onto my email list, and I'm connecting with them that way, and then I'll sell to them my course. Or if they're on Instagram, they might see one of my reels or one of my carousels, or if they're on my podcast, a friend of theirs might say, oh, Jacqui shared this really cool podcast one day. Thank you if you do that, by the way. I really appreciate that. Yeah, a friend might share a podcast with someone, or they might get recommended to them, and then they get to listen to this podcast. Hi. And then they might purchase from me in the future because they've started to build a relationship with me. They're a new client that's come into my world. So we're trying to build that top of funnel engagement and that top of funnel strategy so you can find new people to sell to. Because if you're just selling to the same people over and over again, you're going to run out of people. Work out where you are in your business, and do I need to build that top of funnel? Do I need to create an email marketing campaign where I'm creating a freebie for someone so they want to download that and they want to come into my emails, and I send them a newsletter each week that's got lots of value and a little bit of selling in it, and people then buy from me? What is your strategy? Just in here, I want to say your strategy doesn't have to be everything. There are 1,000 more things that I would love to do. I'd love to really spend time in Pinterest marketing and in YouTube advertising and lots of different other bits, but I'm not, because I only have limited time. And all of the different things that I have, like Facebook ads and podcast and YouTube and Instagram, I've built them up over 10 years. So don't feel like you need to do everything at once. I started off with Instagram, and then what did I do next? Then I did a podcast because I needed some more content to get out there and to see more people. And I felt that podcast would be easy because then I could create a podcast and I could make it Instagram post out of it. Easy peasy. Then I started doing Facebook ads, and then I started my YouTube. It was this slow, long process of me slowly adding things on that suited my business and suited where I knew that my audience was hanging out. So ask yourself those strategic questions to help you work out, where are my audience? What do they need from me, and how can I show up to get more people into my audience so that they can then sell to them later? And the last stage you might be in is that idea of, are you just trying to build a passive income? Maybe you're wanting to sell a course, or maybe you're wanting to sell a digital product or a product or something like that. There's so many different bits and pieces of graphics you might need to support you on that. So say, for example, if you're going to do an online course, you don't just create the online course and give it to people. You need to, again, it's all about the marketing. We need to warm them up. You need to create Instagram posts for a few months leading up to it, building up the topic that you're going to share your course around. Do you need to create a little freebie so that someone can then join that freebie and then start to learn from you and feel like, oh, this free content's really great. I'm really excited for a paid content. Or if you're doing a freebie, how are you going to advertise that freebie? Do you need to do a social media post? Do you need to do a Facebook ad? Do you need to do an email banner so you can send it out to your email list? There's so many different bits and pieces we might need graphic wise once we actually start to create these things. So you might do Instagram posts, email banners, a little mock-up of your freebie design. Like I've got if you need a template, I've got a heap of mock-up templates in my shop. So feel free to head there. It's whitedeer.com.au/goodies. Wasn't planning on mentioning that, but it's really helpful at this point because if you've got a course or a digital product or a freebie, presenting that in what I call a mock-up, so which is just like a laptop or an iPad or a phone kind of sitting in a pretty graphic. That kind of graphic just helps to bring your digital product into a more physical sense, so it feels like they're paying for something more physical, which on the online world, when you're just paying for something and it's just like, oh, you get sent this random PDF, it feels a lot better when you can see a picture of that PDF on an iPad because it feels like it's something more tangible. So that's just a really great marketing hack for you, is create mock-ups of your digital products or your courses or your podcast or anything like that, because it feels more tangible and like people are more excited to get something. And then obviously you've got your landing page or your sales page for when you're selling your online course. And if you're anything like me, if you want to check out my sales page for my main course, it's DIYdesignmybiz.com. And that sales page is so long. It took me days and days and days to create. So and then you've obviously not just got the sales page, the emails, the promotional graphics, and then you might have the actual graphics inside your course. Do you need presentation slides? Do you need workbooks? Do you need, again, mock-ups? Do you need banners for you inside your course? There's all these different bits and pieces we need for our business. We don't need them till we need them, So work out what your strategy is and then work out what graphics you need to create to use that strategy. And you don't have to have everything created at once. Like if you're going to launch an online course, you don't need to know exactly what it looks like but when you're launching the freebie out to the world. You could do the freebie out, and then while that's getting promoted out into the world, you could then start creating your course logo. And then when you're starting to promote your course, you've got a little logo to share there, or you might want to create some mock-ups of what your workbooks might look like and pop them into a mock-up and then sell your course that way. But maybe your whole course isn't finished being built yet. You just need to work out what's the next step that I need now and then create that next graphic. And it needs to be strategic. There's no point creating a course if you've got no people in your audience to sell to them. So working out, maybe you need to build your audience first. Maybe you need to do some more reels and some more carousels on Instagram or whatever your top of funnel strategy is to build that first, so then you can do that course later. So just working out strategically, what do my business actually need? Instead of getting caught up with what people are telling you to do that have different strategies in play right now to you, work out what your strategy is and create graphics that line up for that. If you are just ask yourself those strategic questions, because then you're not going to get caught up in the weeds, caught up just doing a pretty graphic that's not actually going to grow your business. Some people I know, they spend 3 hours on a beautiful Instagram post that gets seen by 3 people because it may be the wrong kind of content and maybe they're not promoting it well enough. And then they spent all this time creating that when they could have created something else that was going to create more traction in their business, create more movement in their business, and use their time in a more strategic way. So that's what I want to share with you today, that you want to really be strategic about how you're spending your time in your business and creating graphics that support that rather than just creating pretty graphics for the sake of it. Graphic design does not exist just to be a pretty thing. Art might exist to be a pretty thing. I love art and it's beautiful, but it may not be there to strategically grow your business. And that's what you need to do as a business owner. If you're creating graphics in Canva, you need to be using your time wisely. And while I love to teach time-saving hacks on Canva of how to use this shortcut and how to make sure when you've got your branding sorted and it takes you half the time to design a graphic, those things are true. But if you're designing the wrong graphics and you're not got a strategy behind that, there's no point to it. So think those questions through first, and your future self and your future business will thank you, because you're no longer getting frustrated that you're wasting time on your Instagram or your Canva or anything like that, and you're actually seeing results happen from your business rather than getting burnt out from all the effort that might be getting wasted in the meantime. So thank you for joining me. If you've found this podcast helpful, I would love to know what you think of it. Feel free to give me a review if you're listening on iTunes. Feel free to answer the little question that I've added in Spotify, or if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to add a comment below and just let me know maybe your biggest takeaway from this episode, and maybe what season and strategy you're using in your business right now to be able to grow, and what stage you're in and what graphic you might be creating next to help that to happen. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time for another episode. P.S. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, or if you're listening as a podcast, make sure you hit that follow or subscribe button too. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye.